You like my candle?
I really do. It looks like candy corn.
I wish you saw it when I originally got it. This orange part on the top was a pumpkin.
Okay, so welcome to episode 2. I won't even begin to explain how much I don't like pumpkins, so.
I had little ghosties and everything. Oh, it was so cute.
Ghosties are cute, but I hate pumpkin. The only reason I have pumpkin like little toys at home is for my cats. This week I thought we could go more into like some advice. Last week we introduced ourselves. This week will be the start of the advice.
Yes.
Advice time with Milana and Siobhan.
Prepare yourselves. Just kidding.
Welcome back to High Tea.
Welcome.
Like I said last week, both in Korea studying here. I think you took Korean for the semester.
Yeah, I took beginner 1 at the time.
And I took intermediate 1. Did you just take, because at Korea University, if you're a full-time international student, if you're an exchange student and also full-time student, you can take the Korean.
Yeah.
But then you can also take extra reading and speaking practice. No. Okay.
I was bad too. We were allowed to miss like 12 or 13 classes. I went to K-pop concerts. I didn't go to Korean class. Don't follow my advice on that. Do your Korean classes.
I went to every single Korean class, even when I was sick. And I actually learnt quite a lot. I think I got an okay mark. We had another friend that studied with us, and she went to most of her classes, but her biggest problem was she waited until exam time before she came up to me, because she also took beginner 1. Before she came up to me and was like, Siobhan, I'm struggling, I don't even know how to read Hangul. So she waited just a little bit too late.
I think for me it was kind of, I already knew how to read Hangul. The reason I didn't go to classes was I already knew how to read Hangul. And then I also...
So you kind of missed the earlier weeks.
Well, no, because a lot of the stuff in beginner 1, even though it was like the right placement for me, a lot of the stuff I had already known.
Okay.
So like there was a good chunk of the grammar I had already known before taking the class. And before I took
And you didn't want to take it as like a revision class? You were confident in yourself, or?
That's kind of what I took it for. It was a revision class, but also like when, I don't know how it was for you, but in the first class we had to kind of take a placement test for a beginner.
Yeah, we did not. I remember taking a placement. Oh, like you actually had to do like a written test?
They gave us like a mini placement test from what my memory serves me. And I remember during the reading part, although I knew how to read Hangul, I wasn't great at it.
Okay.
So it was more for me just to like improve my like reading. Not like comprehension, but just reading skills. Yeah. But the grammar was just too easy for me, and I kind of, like when something is just too easy, you're not motivated, because you're just like, why am I learning this again?
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, I went to the classes where I knew it was going to be a lesson about stuff I didn't know. Going into the next level, I think, I wasn't ready for it because of...
You knew too much for level 1, not enough for level 2.
Right, right.
I remember taking a placement test, but I think it was a speaking test, because I remember going into intermediate level, and at this point, like, I was supposed to take intermediate 2, because I had taken roughly 3 semesters of Korean back home. Intermediate 2 would have been better for me, but because of my speaking ability, I kind of went back down to intermediate 1, and in hindsight, like, I probably should have been in intermediate 1, but I remember going to the speaking placement test, and I remember them telling me beginner 2, and as me being intermediate 2 at that time, I was like, no. So I kind of was like, I'm not going to be motivated to go either. Like, I just knew, I was like, yes, my speaking is like beginner 2, basic 2, whatever, but even though it's speaking, they'll also be talking about things they've learnt.
Yeah.
And I've already learnt that. So it was kind of like, So I was like you, and I just did.
It's just not motivating when you feel like you already know the material and you've kind of gone over it a lot.
I mean, my Japanese ability, because I studied my major at university, my first major was Japanese, and I did that for 3 years. So I've done enough units for almost 2 degrees. So my first degree was in Japanese, and my second degree was in radio.
Yes.
And in my Japanese, the first year, completely fine. But then when I went back for year 2, all of a sudden my tutor was only speaking Japanese. Everything was just all in Japanese. And I never got to improve my speaking because it was just, I don't know, like there was a lot of Japanese listening, and he did encourage speaking, but he didn't encourage speaking from early on. So I never got that practice. Yes, we did. I can't remember what it's called, and it's quite popular in the language learning community. You listen to something, and at first you mumble it, and then you pick up on words, and then you eventually record yourself saying it at the exact same speed.
It's something like mirroring or something like that.
Yeah, it's got a technical name for it.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that ever helped. But with my Korean, being here, I was forced to speak Korean to begin with. So I'm vegetarian.
Yes.
And so I had to learn very quickly how to say phrases like, I can't eat meat, I'm vegetarian. And then taking my Korean class, I know our other friends complained about it a lot, but Korean classes here are in Korean.
Yes.
Which is an amazing thing from the get-go.
Yeah. It's the best way to immerse yourself in the language.
When you get up to intermediate 1 level, they explain Korean concepts in Korean.
Yes.
And so you make this connection.
The beginner teachers from the get-go, it was all in Korean. She tried her best to avoid speaking English because the grammar was so basic that you can kind of understand and get the feeling of what it is, even though it's explained in Korean.
So, what's some other ways you can learn a language?
So, I've been doing the government, I've been doing, I kind of stopped, because it's online. Anyways, I've been doing the government-funded KIP program, and that is basically, if you have a residence card here, it is a great way to study Korean, because it is free, so programs here can be very expensive. Language programs.
They're if you go to a university, it's 1.8 million, I think.
One.
And if you go to the private academies, I think it's 2.1 million.
I don't know. But I just know that they're really expensive. There are programs online that are cheaper. There's this program called the SAVE program. I haven't personally tried it.
I've never heard of it.
I get ads for it all the time on Facebook. Maybe it's because I'm part of the KIP program and I'm looking up it all the time. But anyway, so the KIP program, like I said, is a government-funded program. And you are basically, currently it's online, but basically you're in a room with other foreigners trying to learn Korean through a Korean teacher. A lot of it is focused heavily on what's going to be on the immigration test. This program is to prepare foreigners for immigration to Korea.
Yes. If you take anything by the government, it generally will be. It's we want you to speak Korean just so you can pass our test.
Right. So KIP, I think, stands for Korean Integration and Immigration Program. I could be wrong, but that's what it is. So basically, you do need an ARC for it, which is the alien registration card, which shows that you are a long-term visa here.
Long-term just means, in Korea, it means 6 months or more.
Right. And then, so they just teach you a lot about, it's very grammar heavy. There are downsides to it. There are many upsides. If you are in the classroom, you have a lot of chances to speak Korean, especially because a lot of the people who do it, they might not speak English. You're going to be in a room with people who don't speak the same language as you. You have to speak Korean to them.
The common language will be Korean.
Yeah. So no matter what level you are, even if you're just introducing yourself to the class or just trying to have a conversation, you are going to be using Korean. But like I said, a lot of the program is to prepare people for immigrating to Korea. So a lot of the topics in the book you're not gonna use on a regular basis. Some of them are useful, like I learned what to do if my refrigerator breaks.
Lovely, lovely. But obviously there are different, depending on where you go, they'll focus on more, like a lot of these private academies will have business Korean courses, or everyday Korean courses, or quick, like 2-week immersion courses where you study Korean for like 5-6 hours a day, and then you go and do a cultural event after.
I didn't know about that. But with the KIP program, there are technically 6 levels.
Yeah.
There are 5 levels for you that you have to pass to get points to get like immigration into Korea. Basically, an F visa is what people aim for.
And level 3 is when you have high enough Korean to go to a Korean university.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Wait, is this KIP or...
KIP, not TOPIC. So TOPIC is completely different.
Yeah, I think it's TOPIC level 3.
TOPIC level 3, yeah, that makes sense. KIP level 3 is when you're really starting to learn natural Korean. So level 1 and 2, it's once again teaching you basics. I started with level 2 because I stopped studying Korean for a really long time, and level 2 actually taught me a lot of grammar that I hadn't known. So I was challenged a bit. Level 3, the way it was described to me by Koreans, is it's very more of a natural way of speaking. You're no longer sounding like Google Translate.
I love that expression.
Whereas, so like I said, KIP is for focusing on like getting you prepared for immigration to Korea. Whereas TOPIC, I actually don't know what TOPIC stands for.
It's not teaching. It's...
No. Anyways, that's focusing on
of proficiency in Korea.
It's
Korean.
basically a Korean proficiency test. And
What would T be?
I'm gonna look this up. Well,
It would be of proficiency in Korean.
let's see.
Testing of proficiency in Korean.
Test of proficiency in Korean. Wow.
Boom!
Right. And I think TOPIC is more about your speaking skills. So people who study TOPIC have really good speaking skills, I've realized. So I'm personally, although I'm going to keep with the KIP program because I'm already entering level 4, I am planning to kind of divert from it a little bit and study a TOPIC to improve my speaking and my vocabulary. Because like I said, KIP provides you with vocabulary, but, and you're going to use a lot of it, don't get me wrong. It's a great program.
Okay, here's the thing about side note. Here's the thing about learning a language. It's always learn. Always be learning. No matter what it is, you will probably, even if it's a word that you're like, oh, I'll use that once in my life, always be learning.
Yeah.
Even if you're learning about, like Milana said earlier, how to fix a refrigerator.
Yeah,
you separate those words, and you have learned those words.
Right, you're gonna, in any language, you're gonna need to know, even if you need to know how to, like, call to have your refrigerator fixed, that sentence structure is going to help you make another sentence.
Yes.
With different vocabulary for a different topic.
Yes.
So...
always be learning.
Right, you're gonna learn many, many useful things. It's just kind of, for me, personally, my reading, my writing, and my listening has improved quite a bit through the KIP program, but I'm still struggling with speaking. So for me, I want to take TOPIC to kind of improve my speaking skills and broaden my vocabulary. But another great way to do that is not going to classes and making Korean friends.
Making Korean friends will always increase your chances of Korean.
KIP is not the only free way to learn Korean through class. There are, like, free or very affordable language exchange programs.
I thought most of them were actually free, are they
No.
not? Or like $5 a meetup or something.
This one I did in Gangnam, it was free to learn Korean, but I think for Koreans learning English, they had to pay for it. And the way we kind of paid for it was in the last hour of their lesson, we would join in and like have a conversation with them, and then an hour later we would have our Korean lesson. So in a way we were
so they got priority.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've heard of like language meetups being like meeting up at a cafe and just talking, but this was like an actual structured thing?
Yes. And there are many types of language exchanges here. I personally don't recommend apps.
Are we talking about the TIN app? No.
TIN?
DER?
What? Oh, no, not Tinder.
No.
There are language exchange apps where people kind of abuse them as dating apps.
Yeah.
I'm kind of guilty of that. That's how I met my boyfriend in America. We were supposed to meet for language exchange, but things happened, and now it's basically 4 years.
These language exchanges, you can go and use them for language exchange, or you could use them to find a friend, because you may become friends after it. You may find another female you like or another male, or you can use it to find a partner.
People do make fun of language exchange apps as like a Tinder, but to be honest, it is a great way to learn a language.
It's also a great way to make friends.
Well, being in Korea alone as a foreigner is lonely. Like, even I have Siobhan, I have friends, but in the end, you are kind of here alone.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's like amplified because of the language difference, or because a lot of people come to Korea with like this whole like K-pop, blah blah blah, K-drama,
like we talked about last time,
and they plan on moving here because they fall in love with the culture, which is A-okay. We both did that,
right?
But a lot of people then don't take it a step further and try and like immerse themselves. So back home, my thing that kept me social was playing netball, was doing this like athletic things. So a lot of people don't realize, oh, I'm in a foreign country. That doesn't mean I can't do what I did back home to make friends. So you have to make sure you find these Facebook groups that share the common interest and meet up with them.
Right. There are so many ways to make friends here. I mean, I kind of ho on like going back to language exchange, I kind of make fun of it a little bit as not a great way to learn in Korean. But I mean, in the end, you're still learning, and you can truly make friends from it. Making Korean friends is a great way not only to learn language, but it's a great way to make friends. And I know a lot of people who have met Korean friends through this way. And for example, on Chuseok, because you are here alone, Chuseok is a huge family holiday here. These friends invite these foreign friends over to their family house just so that they can kind of feel like they have like a little bit of a family interaction here, and it's great. But then there's also so many ways to meet other foreigners here if that's also what you're looking for. And I think this is a great way to segue into our Making Friends segment.
Yeah, are we calling it segment? Okay. I mean, I've pretty much explained everything I want to explain about for making friends. Just find your Facebook groups of your interests.
Right. There's so many groups focused on interests here. Siobhan, I know, is in like craft groups and hiking groups.
Yes.
I'm in
an animal group.
Yeah, I'm in BTS groups and Daiso groups. Daiso is a great store here. It's very dangerous. It's like Target back in America. But
we actually do have Daiso in Australia, so it's like Daiso back home.
We have Daiso in America, but I think it's only in Texas.
Oh, we have them in. We have many in Sydney.
I thought there was one in Texas. Anyways, it's like it's a Japanese dollar store basically.
Yeah,
that's where I get.
Except for it actually is $1.
Well, I bought this at Daiso and it was $5. But anyways, going back on topic, if you have an interest, there's a group for it. And if there isn't a group, make it and tell people about it.
Because a lot of, if you scroll through the women's expat group, I have a lot of posts saying, hey, I'm starting running. Is anyone unfit like me and want to start a running group. Yeah, just try and avoid posting in the women group, oh, I'm so alone, I have no friends. It's very repetitive in there, and I always steer people into go, like, so what hobbies do you have? What interests do you have? Either post what hobbies you have in this group, asking for friends in that, like, hobbies, or, you know, search for these hobbies on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just go, like, crafting Korea, hiking Korea, painting Korea.
So many groups.
Cars Korea.
There's a BTS group I'm in, like I said. I met a great group of friends through that. Yeah. There's so many ways to make friends. The thing with the expat, I want to add in, the thing with the expat life is people do come and go.
Oh, yeah, that's a big issue. Not just expat, even if you come here as university, you're only here for a semester.
Yeah. People come and go. It's very, very common thing.
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
Don't take it personally. They're just in a different walk of life.
Not everyone is here permanently, and they have different reasons to be here. They have different timelines here. Some people might be going back to school, back in their country. There's just so many different reasons why someone would leave.
Just don't make it an excuse to not make friends,
Right.
though. You still have to make friends. You still, even if you end up being pen pals or whatever, don't go, oh, they're going to leave me anyway. No, you've made a friend for life, a long-distance friend for life.
It's also kind of a great way to make friends in other countries. So, like, now, like, if you go back to Australia, like, I have reason to go visit Australia, whereas, like, if I didn't know Siobhan, I probably wouldn't
Or
have a
hopefully
reason.
soon New Zealand.
Okay. Anyways, Australia or New Zealand, you have reason to come back to Boston, I guess, if I ever go back to America, if it's not on fire.
except for all the friends I have there, because I lived there for 3 years.
If it's not on fire.
Yep. Unpopular opinion time.
What do you think about these biscuits?
I really like them. I love the spread. Way too much sugar.
I'm going to take it away because I
Wait.
really want to talk about something seriously more controversial than these biscuits in Korea.
Also, too much sugar for me.
Oh.
Take them away.
Anyways.
Save my stomach.
I'm going to give you something even better then. Corn. Corn.
Ooh.
What is your opinion on corn?
I like corn on pizza. I say I like corn on pizza because I believe you can't taste the corn. You can't feel the corn. I love it. You know, like when you go to like a meat restaurant and they have the different sides and they have like the corn with the cheese.
Yeah.
I really like that. Really don't like corn drinks.
So, here's the reason I ask. In Korea, corn is on everything. Literally everything. Pizza. I ordered pizza and pasta yesterday. It was in the pasta.
I've seen that. I went like walking with a friend, and egg sandwiches in convenience stores are hard to find.
They have
sometimes.
corn.
They have corn now.
They have corn. Everything in Korea, not everything, but many things in Korea have corn. And I think it's because of the type of growing conditions here. There's just a lot of corn, I think. So, yeah, I like corn. I don't mind it on the pizza as well. I know that's kind of a huge, like, controversial topic with foreigners, like, ooh, pizza, corn, ooh.
But I think sweet potato is slowly taking over.
I love sweet potato, and I love it on my pizza.
I've only had regular potato, and I thought it was, like, I had, like, hot chip pizzas. That was interesting. I ended up taking the chips off and eating them separately.
What is a hot chip?
It's hot. It's a chip.
Wait.
Fries. Thick fries.
Ah.
So, like, in Australia, you have chips and you have chips. One's chips, one's hot chips, if you need to distinguish. But if you're saying, I'm going to the shops and getting chips, it's pretty much understood that you're getting, like, crisps or your chips. But if you say, I'm going to go to McDonald's and get some chips, it's obviously hot chips.
Interesting.
But anything made of potato is basically a chip. Except for vodka. That's not a chip. Wedges are chips.
Oh, you guys call wedges chips too?
I think we mostly call them wedges, but I wouldn't be surprised if people called them chips.
Interesting. Because in America, like, we have potato chips, and then we have french fries, and then we have potato wedges. potato smiley fries. We have
Do you actually
potato
call
salad.
them potato wedges?
Yeah.
You don't just call them wedges?
I mean, back and forth. Potato wedges. I don't know.
Because I know that the type of shoe, there are wedges, but it's not like you go, I'm going to go get some wedges and walk into, like, the fast food. You're clearly not buying shoes. Continue. Continue.
Yeah, Siobhan, I'm gonna go to McDonald's. Actually, I don't think McDonald's has it. I'm gonna go to KFC and buy wedged shoes. So anyways, in Korea, corn is very prominent in many foods and drinks. There's corn drinks, which I like. Siobhan hates.
I was going to say, no, Milana had this sweet corn without having known that we were recording about corn today.
I like to cook chicken, and then I like to cook. And in my chicken, I usually make a stir fry. Sometimes I'll try and make chipotle in my own house, and I'll mix corn, black beans.
Okay.
And I also really like corn. I grew up eating corn. From the can, I would literally just open a can of corn and just eat it with a spoon.
I do that with beans.
Yeah.
With butter beans, lima beans.
Anyways.
Anyway, if you have a opinion about corn, please let us know.
I'll post a Twitter poll about corn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it if you... Hit yes if you like it. Hit no if you don't like it. Maybe there will be a I don't care about corn. Corn is the devil. I don't know.
Anyway, Thank you for watching episode 2.
If you like this video, subscribe and hit the like button.
Ring the little bell
to get your notifications. Yeah. Bye!
Sure.
Do you want to redo that?
No. No, not for a third time.
I think it's amusing we're a hot mess.